In a quiet rural home passed down for generations, the Thompsons begin hearing a child's voice pleading for help from a basement that has been sealed shut for 4 decades. But when they finally break it open, what they uncover doesn't belong to the world above. The Martins thought they had found their dream home. Nestled at the edge of a sleepy New England town, the two-story Victorian house stood proud and forgotten. It had sat on the market for years, the local agents practically begging someone to take it. That alone should have been a sign. But for Daniel and Laura Martin, both burned out from city life and desperate for a fresh start for their 2 kids, the price and charm were too good to resist. The paint was peeling, the yard overgrown, and one of the upstairs windows had long since cracked, replaced by a cardboard sheet. But the bones were good, as the agent promised, and the Martins could see its potential. Their kids, 10-year-old Max and 7-year-old Emily, raced through the halls that first day, giggling and shouting through the dust. Then Emily stopped laughing. She stood at the far end of the first-floor hallway, just outside a heavy rusted door. It was built into the floor, the kind you'd expect to lead to a storm shelter or a basement. "Daddy, who's talking down there?" she asked. Daniel knelt beside her, brushing dust from the iron handle. "Nobody, sweetheart. It's just the old house creaking. Maybe some pipes." "No," she insisted. "It was a little boy. He was asking if I wanted to play." Daniel exchanged a look with Laura. She offered a tired smile, the kind all parents learn. "Just your imagination, honey," she said. "We've had a long day." They didn't try to open the basement. The key didn't exist. The locked door. That night, when the wind had stilled and even the floorboards had stopped groaning, Daniel found himself staring at that sealed basement door again. He'd never seen hinges that thick. The bolts looked welded in place. He tapped his foot once. The sound echoed deeper than it should have, as though the space below stretched far further than a standard basement. They hadn't been given any layout that included a basement. He checked again the next morning with the realtor, who swore there wasn't a basement on file. "Probably sealed off decades ago," she said. "The house is over 120 years old. Lots of strange old additions. Nothing to worry about." Except Daniel was worried, because when he walked by the sealed door that evening, he heard a soft rhythmic tapping from below, like fingers drumming. Emily's friend. Over the next few days, Emily began to talk to someone who wasn't there. "I call him Oliver," she told Laura over breakfast. "He lives in the basement." Laura tried to hide her concern. "Honey, that door is locked." "You've never been down there," Emily nodded. "He hasn't either. He says he's been locked in since he was little." Laura tried to laugh it off, but Daniel felt the chill behind his eyes. "Have you told her anything about the house's history?" He whispered to her later. "Nothing. Why?" "Because last night I heard the voice too." Daniel's dreams. By the end of the first week, Daniel couldn't sleep. Each night, a dream came. He'd be standing at the basement door, fingers trembling on the handle. But this time, the door was open. A staircase led downward into blackness, where a small voice echoed, "Help me, please, I'm so cold." The voice never sounded angry, just alone, desperate. On the 7th night, Daniel woke with a bleeding nose and dirt under his fingernails. When he checked his phone security cam, to set it up. Just outside the hallway, he saw something that stopped his breath. At 3:07 a.m., he walked toward the basement door, barefoot, eyes shut. At 3:09 a.m., the footage cut out for 3 minutes. At 3:12 a.m., he walked back, eyes still shut. He had no memory of it. A history forgotten on Monday, Daniel visited the local records office. The clerk hesitated when he gave his address. "That's the old Cranmore house," she said quietly. "Didn't think anyone would ever buy it." "Why?" Daniel asked. She hesitated. "It's not official, but 40 years ago, a boy named Oliver Cranmore disappeared in that house. His parents said he vanished during a game of hide and seek. Police searched everywhere but found nothing. Eventually, the case went cold. Some say he fell through an old storm drain. Others say she trailed off. Say what? They say he never left the house. Emily changes that night. Lavra found Emily standing by the door again, whispering softly, "What are you doing, sweetie?" Emily turned slowly. "He says you're not listening." "Who?" "Oliver. He says we're all ignoring him. He says he's been alone for so long, and now he's awake. He wants to come out." Lavra stared. "Emily, how do you know that?" Emily's smile was too wide. "Too wrong. I didn't, but he told me." Cracks in the wall, the house began to change. They found tiny handprints smeared in the dust across the walls, too small for any of them. In the bathroom mirror, Lara swore she saw another face behind her reflection. Doors slammed when no one was near. Max began to sleepwalk, and the tapping from beneath the basement door grew louder. That night, Daniel made a decision. "I'm opening it," he said. Lavra begged him not to. Emily laughed softly and whispered something under her breath. The final scene of part 1, as Daniel grips a crowbar and drives it into the rusted seam of the basement door, a deep, cold wind spills from the crack below. And from the darkness beneath, a voice whispers, "Thank you for remembering me."